message for the ladies and gentlemen around the world and all the ships at sea.
We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us.
So choose wisely. Subscribe to It's Erik Nagel wherever shows are found, on whatever platform you choose. And as always, leave us a positive review. Would you kindly?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special bonus episode of It's Erik Nagel with myself, and over in the upside down there is Gittles.
Hello.
And we are doing a little companion piece, if you will, a little bonus something extra for you for the series finale of Game of Thrones, which happens this Sunday, May 19th, 9 p.m. Eastern here in the United States. The finale, it's going to be done. The show's done with. You'll have nothing to kick around and bitch about anymore. When all
you'll have plenty to bitch about. It's just there's going to be nothing new coming. It's just you're going to be bitching. It's going to be like complaining about, Deadwood or something, knowing there's no new episodes, but there is a movie coming.
All right. Well, anyway, this is coming to a head here. It's the big finale for Game of Thrones. There's been a lot of controversy, a lot of talk, a lot of turmoil, if you will, in people's lives. Things have been destroyed. You've ruined their childhood for some reason. With Season 8 of Game of Thrones, people not happy up until this point. Now let's get to Game of Thrones, because the final episode is airing this Sunday.
This Sunday
on HBO. And before we even do that, the Change.org petition that was going around.
Oh, so stupid.
Okay. Change.org started.
Anyone can have a petition on Change.org.
Change.org initially started with, like a lot of things, with the right and good intentions of making platforms available for people to protest unjust laws, causes, policies, things of that nature, where they can get petitions that you need a certain amount of people to go and make change, to change laws, to change financial benefits, any of the stuff that's, it had good intentions. But then people would get on to change.org and just, like everything else on the internet, put up really shitty and stupid things. It's like, I don't like the way, there was a change.org thing way back in the day about McDonald's bringing back the McRib.
Yep.
Everybody's been saying that. The McRib is what it is. There's a lore around it that it's bigger than and better than it was. Like Ecto Cooler. Remember, for years, people were pining for Ecto Cooler. And then they brought it back, and everyone's like, oh my God, Ecto Cooler's here. And then what happened? It only lasted a little bit, and then it went away. Because people were like,
let me tell you something. You can get a McRib anywhere. Because I went to the supermarket, and if you just go down the frozen food aisle, they have in the TV dinner section, they have the rib thing. It's just a McRib, but with like gravy instead of, on a bun.
Yep. So anyway, the Change.org. So then this became a thing immediately after last week's episode, where people are not saying that they're protesting. They are utterly demanding that HBO get brand new writers and a new showrunner and reshoot season 8 because they do not like the way that this season turned out. Now, this is just spotlighting the fact of how far the human race has declined. Because I didn't like the way a TV show worked out. I'm utterly demanding for the firing of people, and that this network heed our calling and reshoot it to our liking, because we deserve this. This is our property, and that's not the case at all.
No, it's definitely not. I think that everyone's making much bigger news of this change.org thing. Like, I don't think that anyone I don't think a single person on that list who signed it thinks that they will actually redo it.
No, not at all. This is like a BuzzFeed headline.
I think people are more signing it to show their dissatisfaction with the last season. You know what I mean? I don't think it's like people legitimately think it's going to happen. I think it's like more of like, yeah, this season sucked. And people are putting their names on it because, people invested a lot of time into this series, and it is tough because I was going back and watching clips from earlier seasons because there was things I forgot, and I was just watching it and just the dialogue and like the acting. I'm like, God damn, this show really did fall off. It's tough, but like the change.org thing, it's stupid. It's stupid. It's not going to change anything.
Yeah. I was saying that because it's exactly right. I don't think people who have voiced their disgust and displeasure for this season hashtag it on Twitter and social media like you do. You don't do a change.org that we are going to protest HBO and Time Warner to make changes and heed our demands to reshoot an entire season for what is the most expensive television show ever shot in history. Right?
Yeah, that's the thing too, that people aren't thinking. Like, this is a 3-camera shoot, like, you know, like a sitcom, like Friends or something like that, where you could just go in and be like, okay, well, we'll go reshoot that last scene. No, you need to get armies of people and dragons, and like, there's so much shit you got to do to get this season, to get something like this redone. And no, it's not going to happen.
All it took was that somebody started this, and then because if they needed filler news or more lighthearted news based, you know, compared to everything else that's going on right now, they throw that in there. Well, apparently, legions of Game of Thrones fans are not happy and are demanding HBO. And like, no, not legions. When I looked, it was barely 50,000 people that signed.
Now it's 500,000.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Still not enough.
No, it's still not enough.
I saw the goals. Like, we're going to try to get this to 1 million. Okay, and then what? This isn't going to be taken seriously by a private company and a network.
No, I mean, if anything, maybe, you know, I don't know. I think maybe people are even signing this in hopes that they won't be writing on the new Star Wars movies.
Right.
Because they are writing that new trilogy. And it's clear what happens when they don't have source material to go off of. You know what I mean? Like, when they were doing the seasons that were on the books, it was a great job. But now that they're past the books, like, it's hacky.
Yeah.
And, you know, I read an interview with George R.R. Martin. He said the only way that you can really tell the full story of this show is 10 seasons minimum. And that's what he said. He's like, the only way to really tell this story is 10 seasons minimum. And they're like, nope, 8.5. Or like 7.5, really, because it's not even like the last 2 seasons weren't even full seasons.
Right.
You know, so I don't know. I don't know if you've seen this, but there is floating around on the internet a mashup of interviews with actors before the season came out. And I remember
is this the one where they're on the red carpet and they talk to Emily Clark and she goes like this? Is it that one?
Well, no, this is a montage of almost all the actors in different interviews basically doing that. Okay. And it's just like, when it's all pieced together like that, you're like, oh no, the actors didn't like how this ended either. There's a scene with, like, there's one where Tyrion's talking and there's an interview with him and they're like, so what happened in the scene? He's like, well, you know, the guy who's resurrecting the dead comes. So, you know, we know what Tyrion would do because he's the smart guy. He would throw people into the crypts with the skeletons because that's a smart thing Tyrion would do. And that's literally how Peter Dinklage says it in the interview. And you're like, ooh, because, you know, when you watch it beforehand, like when you see people complaining about, like, or saying like, oh, the season's coming up, oh, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be this, oh, I'm scared, and you know, generally you think they're faking, but I think in this case they were all actually telling the truth. Like, no, it really isn't that good. Like, don't get your hopes up. The clip I saw was some red carpet event. I saw that one too. And then Danny's like, what? It's like, dude, like, you excited for? Are you happy with how your character art ended? And she does that face, and then you hear boom, 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 the thing from Curb Your Enthusiasm. I was like, that's pretty funny. Yeah, there's one with Davos being interviewed, and he's just like, I mean, 7 seasons of this, and then this is what they do. Like, so I don't think that the ending was liked at all by any of the actors in it. And you know what? Like, I'm hoping that they filmed like 5 different endings, and they've been debating all week of how to end it. Like, they're like, which ending do we put on? They really didn't like that last episode. We got to win them back. All right, well, how about we do the one where this happens instead of this? No. Like, how about we shoot this ending instead of this? You know, like a Clue type thing. Just so many different endings. Which one are they going to tack on as the last episode? Like, that would be cool, but I don't think that's going to happen. What I do think is going to happen, though, Did you see the clip where they did the Sopranos ending? Oh, where she's on the dragon and then just cuts to black to Don't Stop Believing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's really nothing right now that I think of that would be a satisfying ending for me, other than them just explaining things. Like, I would really like them to explain Bran. I feel like I've been going off for 2 seasons about how he's important, and then the show just said he wasn't important, but I still feel like he is. He knew how to kill the Night King. He's traveled through fucking time. He killed Hodor by accident.
Right.
He made Hodor only say Hodor. Like, he's a pretty important character, and they're just gonna be like, nah, whatever.
There's a guy I have mentioned on this show over the years. His name's Ozzy Man on YouTube. Yeah. One of the things that made him famous was that he used to do really funny and thorough.
His reviews are great
of Game of Thrones. Oh, you watch his reviews for Game of Thrones?
He's done reviews of everything. There's like videos, like viral videos. Cat run. He's like, look at this motherfucking cat.
I know.
Yeah,
he would do those little animal chase videos and things like that. But where he was really getting noticed before he started doing that was the Game of Thrones reviews, right? Because he was just this wacky Australian guy doing it in a funny voice and being very humorous with it. Well, he's still doing it. I recommend, I have it up on our Facebook. It's Erik Nagel. You can go check that page. Or you go to Ozzy Man Reviews on YouTube. Look for his review of Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 5. Yeah. The first half of the review is his funny take on everything that's going on. Then it goes, then the real review. Then he breaks it down for the second half of what he really thinks of it. And he says the same thing that you said about Bronn. He's like, yeah, he's important. Bran. I forgot there's Bronn and Bran.
There's Bronn and Bran. Yeah. You really can't mix those up.
So for Bran, he said, yeah, he's there. He does all the stuff. He knows where it's going to lead. And then, well, you're going to come with, nah, I'm going to go over here. And then he just goes on vacation. Like, he just leaves and nobody has an answer to it. So I'm done. I'm going to go check out. And then he leaves.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go check those out.
What did you think about the last episode? Because I know I saw your tweet said best episode ever, and I know that's because you just love watching people get killed by dragons. Like, it didn't matter what the show could be. You could have been crying because your favorite character got died, but in the back of your mind you'd be like, woohoo, because people would be burning to death.
Well, this was the thing. I started laughing when she was sitting there with the dragon perched and the bells are ringing, and everybody else on the ground was realizing, okay, they surrendered and we're just going to take this over peacefully, whatever. And her brain was broken. And she just kind of went, yeah, and then started torching the place. Not only was she torching the opposing army, she was torching the peasants and the regular people that lived there. She was torching the people from her own army, the Unsullied. Is that what they are? Right?
No, she wasn't torching them.
They were there while she was going down. Like, some of them were getting killed. You had some of the army from the north were getting mixed up in there because she was just going crazy. And
she was going crazy, but like, I don't know how many actual people.
Some more than one happened. All right, so even if it's not a huge number. But the fact was, she just gave no shits about anybody else and just turned it on and was going. Now, what I was starting to laugh at is, one, when she went crazy and went for it, I was like, yeah, because I'm all about ruining a story. But two, when it would cut to Cersei and she would just stand there and watch this, you'd see the dragon slowly, like an airplane, when they would take off on a runway and then go out over the water to where they would turn around to make their final approach to come back. She's standing there, and the dragon's moving that slow because it's at a distance and it's high up. So it looks realistic as the dragon's this huge beast is trying to turn around. And then other stuff would happen. Then would cut back to Cersei on that watchtower again, and you would just see, like she was seeding a lawn, the dragon would just go in a straight line over here, turn around, and then come back this way in a straight line. Like, I was laughing at how specific it was. It wasn't her just going going all willy-nilly in every direction to torch this thing. She was just doing a straight line here. Oh, this street goes this way. Turn left, go down that way to the. Like, she was painting a canvas of dragon fire.
She was like the kid who does the maze wrong at like the restaurant and just does every single line. And like, oh, that's a dead end. Time to go back. And they go, oh, there's a way
Retrace
through.
The steps. I didn't get all the way down that alleyway. Let's turn so we get the people hiding. But then when you'd see the areas, the arsenal areas where the wildfire was stored, and you just see the green explosions. That's where I was yelling. I was like, the wildfire, there it is. Like, I was hoping it was going to start a chain reaction of green and red going everywhere.
Ooh, it's like Christmas.
And then she's dive bombing into the towers. Like, the dragon's wing is taking out the parts of the castle. So then Cersei runs off with the, I forgot her hand's name. What's his name?
I can't remember.
The creepy dude, and then Sir Gregor the Mountain, as she's leaving, and they're going through their stuff, and then I realized the way the dragon's taking everything, she destroyed the Iron Throne too. Like that throne room's gone.
I mean, we think it is. We'll
it
see.
looked like it.
The whole castle was basically
it was pretty fucked. Like the last scene of Cersei and standing there, where Jaime was in that room where they have the map painted on the floor. Yeah, remember that courtyard, right? But then they were going through the caverns to try to get out and realize they were fucked. So then everything just collapsed on them. That was the end of their story.
Ugh,
but just
what an ending.
I loved the Clegane brothers fight. I thought that was
I didn't
great.
like that.
You didn't? Where he stabbed him right in the eyes?
I thought it was at that point, I just didn't care. I didn't think it was that good of a fight, to be honest. Like, I thought it was going to be better. I like
that they both died at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We don't know if the mountain's dead. Like, the mountain can't die. Like, unless he's dismembered. So him just falling into the fire, who knows? He could just go from the ashes and just kill Daenerys, and it's like he sits on the Iron Throne. Who knows? But I mean, I'm sure he's probably dead. But I was under the impression he had to be dismembered to be killed.
Maybe.
But I don't know. I didn't think that fight was that great. I did think it was funny when the hand of the king and just threw him down the steps. And he just like shattered on the rocks, or the hand of the queen rather. And then Cersei is just like, oops, I'm just going to squeeze by you two and let you kill each other. I'm going to go. It would have been great if the Hound was just like boof and just pushed her out a window.
Yeah, it's just, left punch right to the side while still looking at the mountain. Just
boom,
like boom.
Boom.
And she goes tumbling down the stairs like, I've fallen and I can't get up.
Yeah. Sorry, had a leg cramp. I had to stand up for a second.
That's all right. But yeah, I love the fact that it did a complete 180. She went mad, like her lineage does, apparently.
Yeah.
And she just, like earlier they said, she goes, I don't have love. So she goes, fine, I'll rule by fear. And that's what she did. She ruled by fear because she had nothing. She's terrified that Jon's going to get the throne. She probably knows that somebody's going to kill her. And that's where we get to this thing here. So one other thing was this.
The problem is, like, and here's the thing. Like, I don't have a problem with her turning. I have a problem with it just happening in like an episode. You know what I mean? Like, because for like 7.5 series was like, hi, I'm Khaleesi, breaker of chains, freer of this, burner of innocence. You know what I mean? Like, it was too abrupt of a change. Like, yes, I accept that she became mad. I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
It's just I feel like they needed to really hash it out over a couple of more episodes.
Yeah, it is you can tell it's very rushed. Like,
it's very
where
rushed.
you knew there was going to be a problem was the what was the episode? The Battle for the Night or something?
The Long Night.
The Long Night. When that battle was going on. And you're looking at it, everything's going on and then you realize there's only a couple of minutes left, and this battle is still going, like full speed, still going. And you're like, there's only a couple of minutes left. Oh my God, they're going to just end this thing, or they're going to rush it, or it's going to be continued or whatever. And then nope, Arya jumps, knife, done, everything ends like that. I was like, oh, they're going to just plow through the next few episodes. It's going to be on fast forward.
That's the thing. Like, I was hoping that the Long Night was going to be spread up over like 2 episodes and like a cliffhanger, and then the battle would come back.
Right.
Like, I thought because it was something they were legit building up for the entire show, was that battle, and they just did it in 1 episode. Like, yep, here it is, and it's going to be dark. You're not going to see anything, but it's like that last episode, man. I just couldn't get over it. Like, I don't like that Euron had such a weird. I don't like his storyline that he got to kill a dragon and mortally wound Jaime Lannister. Why does he get that? Like, why does he get that in?
And we don't know if he's fully dead. He was just laying on the beach there, stabbed and hurt.
Yeah, he's dead.
You think so?
Yeah, like what? I mean, if he's not, he's dead. Like, what's he gonna do? Come back and be like,
it just comes out of the.
That's not gonna happen. I mean, the only other one would be what's her name? The other girl on the fleet who left.
Oh, the girl that used to punch the castrated one all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of her name.
Was it Greyjoy?
Yeah, it's Greyjoy.
Yeah, the other one. Yeah, so like, unless she comes back, I don't know. There was just so many things I didn't like about the last episode. They just rushed through things, like the Arya surviving everything. Like, oh, I'm gonna run around escaped fire. Oh, I watched these rocks didn't hit me. I didn't like that the mountain didn't get crushed by all those like bricks when they fell on him. Like, you know, I totally understand that he's a big guy, that he's basically indestructible, but even in a show where there's dragons and the dead come back to life, I don't believe that a guy can, like, no matter how big and zombified he is, can sit here and just block bricks from falling on Cersei and not have his body completely crushed. It's basic physics, you know what I mean? Like, the force and weight should have still crushed his body, and stuff like that just really pisses me off.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, with Arya, when she got on the white horse, right? And then I
mean, like, could you have any more blatant symbolism?
What did that mean?
What?
Tell everybody what that meant.
Well, because there's the whole thing, and, you know, and lo and behold, there was death, and they rode in on a white horse. And, you know, it's Arya.
Wasn't that also a Johnny Cash song, though, too?
I don't think it was. I think it was actually from the Bible.
Okay.
But I mean, it's like, it's an image, it's imagery that's used a lot. It's like, you know, they can mash that up with the end of Hot Fuzz where, you know, Sergeant Angel like leaves and he comes back on the white horse with the two guns, or the beginning of Walking Dead where Rick's on the white horse with the guns. You know what I mean? It's been played out, and they really, I mean, the symbolism this season has just been like way over the top. And it's just, you know, obviously Arya is going to be doing something big this next episode, because why else would Death leave on a white horse with hell following behind Death? You know, that's how the phrase ends.
This is what kind of annoyed me. So at the end of that episode, and it was literally the last step before the exact end, was Arya on the horse, and she trots off out of the rubble from what's left of King's Landing. Show ends, and I'm thinking, wow, so she's going to disappear for a while and then maybe show up at the very end. Something's going to go on. And then they show the preview for the next week. Boom, she's right there in the crowd again. I'm like, what was the whole dramatic walk off if you're going to show that she's right there again?
There was a trailer for next week?
Yeah, it was after the credits.
Oh, was there? All I saw after the credits was that one shot of, like, the crowd. Like, there was the shot of, like, somebody walking out, and then it just went to black. Like, there was no trailer for me.
The crowd, you see Arya. She's standing
right
there. You see a close-up of her right there. You see the crowd, Arya's right there, and then you see Dany on this smoky or dusty, whatever, top of something, where you see her armies right there, and then the people down below. Like that, you see from behind, and that's where it ends. It's like maybe a 10-second thing.
Maybe I missed the part of it then, because I just saw the shot with Dany, and then it ended anyone else in the crowd. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like Tyrion's probably going to die in the finale. I feel like Jon Snow is probably going to die in the finale. Who's going to end up on the throne? I don't know. I think Khaleesi's going to die in the end.
I think it's going to be Sansa.
I think it's either going to be Sansa, Bran, or maybe Gendry.
What if they all just sit on the throne together, like they're all in each other's laps?
They just refashion it into a bench.
No, they play it like musical chairs. Everybody runs for the bench. They're all trying to sit on top of each other, and that's just how it ends.
Oh no, Arya tripped. She got impaled on the chair.
Yeah, I don't even know if that throne is still there. Like I said earlier, I think she destroyed the whole thing. The throne may be fucking gone. So now it's just a symbolistic thing that she's on the throne.
I mean, it could be, but there was also, that vision that she had in season 2, season 3, where she's walking in and it's, the Iron Throne, and it's just, people were debating whether or not it was ash or snow. Remember that scene, that flashback when she's in the house and it's giving her like the visions of her future. But here's the other thing that happens after that. So she sees the throne and it's, the dust or the snow. And then she opens the door and she just gets hit in the face with snow. And then there's a tent, and she goes to the tent, and Khal is there. Khal Drago, or whatever
her husband, yeah.
Yeah, he's there, and her dead infant son is there also. So the speculation is that, yeah, she did that to burn all the throne, but she's still going to die, because that's going to be her afterlife vision of her going and seeing Khal and, like, the baby. You know what I mean? Like, so that was the last part of that vision. So I think Khaleesi's going to die. I think Jon Snow is probably going to die, maybe have his head cut off, like come full circle with like the Stark family, even though he's a Targaryen. I could see any of the Starks sitting on the throne. Bran's already on a throne. He can sit on a bigger throne. Maybe Sansa.
I think I said it last week.
I didn't like that Varys was just murdered for no reason. Like,
well, he was right, and he even said too. And he's like, I hope this is justified. I hope I'm wrong.
He was, but everyone knew that he was right.
Yeah. Like I said last week, I'm a big fan of ruining stories and just throwing in weird shit for no reason. I would love that, and I think I said this last week, that if it ends with some new character that's introduced at the very end, kills whoever's left and gets the throne, and then they don't explain who the guy is or the girl is. Just some new character shows up in the last minute, and this is the ending. And like, who was that? How did that person win it? Credits.
Yeah, you hear "Don't Stop Believin'" playing like Sopranos.
I just want that. If they introduce a brand new character and that person sits down and that's how it ends, like, who was that guy? What was that about? And that's the end. We'll never know.
But here's the thing. Like, you say that's crazy, but there's like 3 spinoffs coming. It very well could end that way. And then the next spinoff is like the new throne. Like, who are the new people? You know what I mean? Like the new class. The new Saved by the Bell, the older years.
Game of Thrones, the new class.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they thought there was only 7 kingdoms in Westeros, but there's west of Westeros and there's the 8th kingdom. You know, like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in the finale, but hopefully they find a way to redeem it. I don't think they're going to. I've had a couple of friends who, after last episode, looked online for spoilers.
Right.
And some of them said that they read ones that they believe are true because the previous spoilers detailed every episode to a T. And so they said that, you know, this is how it ends. And my friends didn't tell me, but I just said, is it disappointing? And they said, oh, yeah. And I was like, oh, no, I'm very worried. Because I remember 2 weeks before the Dexter finale happened, I read a spoiler, and I was like, there's no way that's
right.
There's no way that's how that ends. And then it ended that way.
Okay.
Like, if this show ends with Jon Snow as a lumberjack, like just sitting in the woods somewhere, hats off to them. Like, I would actually be kind of happy with that.
For the longest time, people always complained about Seinfeld, saying that it was a very disappointing series finale, right?
Yeah.
Because it ended the same way that it started, except they were in jail, but having the same conversation that they had when the show first started. And then you have shows like Lost, which people said was a disaster because they didn't know how they went too far. They didn't know how to reel it back in. And the ending just kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
Then the finale of Dexter comes along. And Dexter has to be the worst finale for a television show ever because not only is it unrealistic, they have CGI in it that's so bad in a scenario that wouldn't happen like this. And it's too long. It's not a spoiler for anybody. But they're CGIing a hurricane about to hit a hospital, which is on the water for some reason. And then he takes a body onto a boat and drives out into the hurricane to get rid of the body. It's like, and you see how bad the hurricane looks. It looks like
so bad.
Remember that some of that artwork you used to see in Chinese restaurants where it would just be a black outline and then the color, the lights would move behind it to show the art? That's what that hurricane looked like. It's like they left a few transparent spots on the artwork and then just had some kind of motion graphic behind it.
Yeah. Oh, it was so bad.
So dumb.
But, I mean, who knows? They could Dexter the ending to this. They very well could. Like, here's the thing about TV shows. The ending is theirs to screw up. Like, that's in their court. They told this story. They have to end it. They have to figure out how to end it. Breaking Bad knew what they were doing. They were like, you know what? We know how to end this. We have a good way we're going to do it. People are going to be happy. American Horror Story. They did it in maybe like 2 or 3 seasons where they were like, okay, we had a good ending. And the seasons didn't have a good ending. The ending of The Wire. Season 5, not a good season of The Wire. Like, sorry.
Right.
Dexter, not a good ending.
Not at all.
Weeds went way too many seasons. I've heard Orange is the New Black has not been very good the last couple of seasons.
I haven't watched it since season 3.
I think the bigger problem with Game of Thrones is the same problem that Walking Dead has. And that is, and I don't know if I've said this before on this show. I might have just said it in a conversation with somebody, but there are shows that got popular on the fact that your favorite character could die at any moment. that you could put on an episode this week and you're going to see, you know, some crazy shit like you're not expecting. And as the show progressed, characters became favorites and people started falling into these safe zones. And the shows drifted away from what made them popular in a way. You know what I mean? Like the whole season of Game of Thrones, they've only been like the B stars, you know what I mean? Like not really main characters like a Jon Snow or Dany. I mean, only until this last episode where Cersei and Jaime died. You know, like in the last 2 seasons, there hasn't been a lot of like major deaths like that. And the show started off that way with a lot of that. And I think when you kind of like betray yourself to that to keep fan favorites alive, it's detrimental to the show because one, you're sold on that gimmick of this could happen, but two, now you have characters that maybe you wanted to write off earlier and you have to keep them going. So you have to like just keep making up storylines for them. And they just has to keep going. And like, you know, I think the whole if Daryl dies, we riot on Walking Dead thing was like really detrimental to that show. I think if he would have died earlier on that show, people would have got over it. And they would have been like, oh man, yeah, this is the show that killed Daryl and he was a fan favorite. And like, that's fucked up, you know? Right. I think that people are listening too much to the fans in a way instead of just sticking to their guns and be like, no, this is what we do.
Yeah, we dictate to you how this runs, not you tell us how it runs.
Yeah, no, you show us like you're the one making this show. Tell us how it's supposed to go. Right. If Jon Snow has to die, do it. Just fucking kill him. Like make it happen. But don't drag things out. Don't fake deaths. Don't like lead this shit on and then not have it pay off because that's what's pissing people off.
It's like have Bran do something. He's sitting there learning watercolor painting. That has nothing to do with what the story is.
Yeah. I don't know.
So we'll have to wait and see.
Finale Sunday. Is it a long episode?
It's 80 minutes.
So it's like the last couple episode length. It's been about 80 minutes.
Yeah, it's a movie length for the series finale of Game of Thrones Sunday, 9 p.m. on HBO.
3! Oh.
3!
I did that earlier. Well, that's it for me. I don't know about you.
And until the next time, we'll be in a post-Game of Thrones world. We'll know who sits on the Iron Throne, and we'll be seeing you.
It's Erik Nagel.